a second, guys, because I have to reset the camera. I want to make sure you guys can see as many of the cards as you possibly can. Welcome, Cancer, to your 2024 yearly forecast. For your, although I did set the intention for this to be for sun, moon, and rising, for the most accurate messages, watch for your rising sign only, okay? Although you can get a second level of clarity by watching for your sun and your moon sign. Of course, if you want to book a personal reading, you can do that on my website. The link is down below. Yearly forecasts are also available. If you decide that you enjoy this reading and you'd like to get one tailored for your own experience in 2024, you can do that. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys for joining members. Those of you that just joined members, welcome. All right, so let's get into Holy Spirit, guardian angels, my beloved ancestors. Thank you for allowing me to be a vessel to give messages to Cancer for their highest good only, as it relates to the year 2024. All right, Spirit, what's the strongest message for Cancer? Be bold and make the first move. Bottom of the deck, you have you and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. Not too bad, not too shabby. One of the channel messages that I was getting, though, before starting the reading was trust the process. For some of you guys, I do feel like you could be releasing a romantic partner in the year 2024. Some of you guys, this could be another water sign. For some of you guys, this could be a Virgo or any of the mutable signs. Mars was coming out in your pre-shuffle, and just for the sake of time, around June into December, I think, is when you'll start to see things kind of move in a direction, a more permanent direction. Let me say that. It seems like you want to accomplish something, or you're going to try to accomplish something throughout the month or throughout the year of 2024. And I see results of that possibly like showing up around June into December. Mars specifically is going to be retrograde in your sign, I believe. Let's see. I think it's December 7th. So Mars enters your sign on October 20th, on October 20, and is going to go retrograde in your sign on December 7th. So there could be like some finalizing of certain things, or it also feels too like whatever challenge you're up against in the year of 2024, that you get towards the end of the year and you possibly revisit or second guess, like if it's a relationship that you're, separating yourself from or getting yourself out of. It seems like around like October, you maybe second guess it, like, oh, maybe we should try to work things out or whatever. I believe that by the month of December, you would have come to some sort of conclusion that you had the right idea originally. Okay. I did see travel in the pre-shuffle, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So January, endured the first house, second, third, fourth. You have Cancer in the fourth house. Nice. Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12. Okay. Externally, you have the second house. So for whatever reason, Jupiter being retrograde in Taurus on the cusp of Aries, however, if you read Western or Vedic astrology, it seems like well, first off, on the natal chart, I believe that your sign sits at a semi-sextile position from a Taurus. And so it would make sense, yeah, with this Taurus and Aries energy here, it would make sense why some of the positive aspects of Jupiter, particularly as it relates to the second house, finances, credit score, that sort of thing, things that you would consider that contribute to your security, your stability, those things would be positively aspected by Jupiter's transit. Okay, so I just want to bring that up because that's kind of loud and clear here. But having Taurus in the first house, I think that when we come into the year of 2024, for my Cancerians, you're most likely shifting your focus, or you're being asked and or forced to shift your focus to more practical matters, more practical approaches as it relates to the world around you. I feel like, and it's funny how I emphasized I feel like your feelings possibly have gotten in the way in this past year. And when I say gotten in the way, it just depends, you know, what else is in your natal chart. But when it comes to relationships, like possibly loving someone to the end of earth, but it not being very practical, it not, you know, like contributing to your future, or it being very disruptive in your household, or whatever the case may be. It seems like for the year 2024, you could even set a New Year resolution to focus more so on what is practical, what actually makes sense, being more like deliberate about your level of loyalty with a person in a particular relationship, in a situation. And for some of you guys, like, this is even going to play into work. Okay. Now, the reason why I was a little hesitant about saying that you could end up having like a New Year resolution, I personally do not believe in them. And not because I think that they're bullshit. I think that it's very good to like set, you know, intentional and deliberate goals. But as it relates to the zodiac chart, and especially Vedic astrology, the new year does not technically begin until the springtime. Because Aries is the first sign in the zodiac chart, the new cycle does not actually begin until Aries season. And so some of you guys, you may even like think back 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, you know, that you've done like New Year's resolution. I've done them in the past prior to knowing that. And I noticed that in January, it is very difficult to get in whatever rhythm you need to be in order to accomplish those resolutions. Normally, you don't find the peace or, you know, like the order or whatever that you need until springtime. You know, like if your resolution was to start working out, to lose some weight, you know, like you might go out and do a couple of jogs in January, but the weather might not permit you, you know, to contribute or to like fully commit to your resolution until the seasons change. Okay, so definitely keep that in mind. For whatever reason, that feels very, very significant for the year 2024 for you all. Possibly, you know, this could be the first year that you actually realize that you set goals, possibly now into the beginning of 2024, but things, trust the process, right, is the title of this reading. Things don't actually start to get into a rhythm or an Evans flow until March, April. Oddly enough, you have Cancer sitting here for April. So I feel like you'll be in your true essence, or you'll be in some natural flow state around April, okay? Having Chiron here in the second house and or February, I do feel like there's going to be some sort of like combativeness, or there could be some sort of argument. There could be some sort of disagreement about whatever practical steps you're planning to take for 2024, or you could start to see right away that like whatever practical plan you thought would, you know, like take place and/or manifest through the year 2024, for whatever reason, there could be challenges around February. And especially since you have the second house, like external to this energy, it's like something that kicks off or something that takes place in February ends up affecting everything else for the rest of the year. It doesn't necessarily feel like a bad thing. It just seems like it has you all in your feelings. Okay, so just be mindful about that. Chiron is currently retrograde, kind of on the cusp of Aries and Pisces. And so again, moving into Aries season, I want to say that it goes direct around the end of January of 2024. I don't think I've charted for Chiron yet, but I want to say like intuitively, I think that like towards the end of January or something like that is when Chiron is going to go direct. And for others of you, there's like some sort of open wound that by the time like February comes around, like you get in some sort of position or something happens in order for you to properly address it. Chiron is oftentimes known as like the wounded healer, you know, and again, like it feels like that's what you're coming into 2024 realizing, you know, that like your love language or your tendency to just have like balanced loyalty for someone, or to completely be emotionally available and or devoted to someone or something has not paid off. And so there's a need to kind of like acknowledge that so that you can begin to heal and or grow from it. Okay, moving into March and or the third house, you have Aries here, which is very much so like an active, self-starting type of energy. It can be very assertive, very courageous. I would definitely say be mindful because it can come off as a bit of like a macho, argumentative, and sometimes even like impulsive or competitive. Okay, so like balancing the extremes. Thank you, Spirit. It seems like this first like quarter of 2024, you're doing your very best, or you're being put in a position to balance the extremes. Okay, from practical to not so practical, or you know, like dreamy and illusional type vibes. Like you know, it just depends on everything that you have in your chart. But Cancerians can sometimes take on a little bit of a kind of like, I don't want to say delusional. I feel like Cancers can be delusional in love. You know, like when it comes to like work, that sort of thing, like Cancers are typically on point, you know, and that is kind of like a perk of being a water sign, right? They can fully immerse themselves in the work that they do. They can fully immerse themselves in the relationships that they have committed to, or whatever the case may be. But for whatever reason, when it comes to love, particularly friendships, relationships, romantic partnerships, that sort of thing, Cancer can sometimes operate on a dangerous level of delusion. And it feels like you're being asked to balance the extremes, or there's something that's going to happen and or take place that forces you to balance out those extremes. Either like being in a relationship with someone and you this whole time, like everybody around you has told you like, no, they shit stink. But you loving them, you know, boundlessly has had you like under the impression like their shit couldn't stink. It don't. It's it doesn't. How could it? You know, versus seeing something or experiencing something either in February or directly related to your money and your finances that has you like, oh, they shit do stink. Okay, so that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. This is really, really beautiful, really amazing to have Cancer here in the fourth house. This is the mother, the doula. It is a very like nurturing energy regardless of gender. This is all about like how sympathetic you are, or what your feelings are, or what's comfortable to you, what's nostalgic, particularly as it relates to family, the home, shelter, like your habits. And when I say habits, like we're talking about like comfort foods, you know what I mean? Like if you have your favorite ice cream is Rocky Road, like around April, like you didn't located like your favorite Rocky Road ice cream, or it's that kind of vibe. Like it's lightweight, but it touches a soft spot, whatever this is that's taking place in the 4th house. Okay, it can also be a very protective, highly intuitive energy. So around this time, I definitely would suggest, Cancer, that you trust your intuition with people in certain like circumstances, indoor situations, because your intuition is not going to lead you astray. Especially, this is crowning North Node. Know that you're on the right path. This is basically the epitome of trusting the process, right? Like your life going in some sort of direction that you may not have otherwise planned for and or expected, but trusting that process. With the 5th house here and or around May, okay, oddly enough, this is like kind of the energy where Mother's Day kind of takes place. There are, like graduations. There are a lot of like ceremonies and rites of passage that happen here around April into May. Again, regardless of gender, right? You have the 12th house sitting here in the 5th house. There is something that I feel like you need to surrender. Particularly the 5th house rules romances. And we led with that, right? So romances, possibly you need to surrender to those, either in a good way where like somebody could have been pursuing you romantically and you may not have been interested and or been involved with someone else. It could be time to surrender to that. For others of you, like you're coming to some sort of realization that your boundless love to someone it's kind of on the edge of delusion, that there isn't anything practical about it, that it's not serving your greater purpose sitting here with the North Node, because this is like a trine energy. It's like trusting your intuition, surrendering to your intuition so that you can get in a flow state. Okay. I didn't like the more that I do these yearly forecasts, the more like spirit reveals to me what like some of the messages that are like embedded in how they have the spread set up. So initially, or in the rest of the readings, I didn't realize, like I kind of sensed it when I was reading the energy, but I didn't explicitly state it. This side over here very much so gives North Node energy, versus when we get over here to these energies, and we'll talk about that in a minute, it seems like it's kind of like a South Node type of energy, oddly enough, right? This is kind of like moving into, we're all the way into the new year. It's the summertime. People are starting to kind of have a good time again, coming out of the cold, that type of energy. Starting to see like the fruits of their labor. If they were successful at goals that they set for themselves in the beginning of the year, people begin to see early gains for that. This is giving a North Node energy, versus when you get closer to the end of the cycle or the end of the year, then you're keen to start reflecting on all that took place before, which is a past life South Node type of energy. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that because I kind of just had an epiphany about that. But anyway, moving into the 6th house. So the 6th house is all about health, work, details, organization. For me as a reader, it can definitely be a karmic house, a karmic natal placement in your natal chart. And I say that because it's not the same as like your South Node and your North Node placement, right? It's more so in the now type of karmic house. If you do work, or the way that I like to explain like the 2nd house and the 6th house, like if you put like the work in, right? Here in the 6th house, you put the work in, you pay attention to the details, you fine tune the details of whatever it is, right? A relationship, a job, a project, or whatever. You receive those accolades and or those successes in the 10th house. Okay, now to back up a little bit with the 2nd house, right? It's like if you, this would be the house that rules investments, you know, like material investments particularly. So if you put the money and time and energy into something, this is where you get paid. Okay, so for some of y'all, that's quite literally the message, that there could be some sort of unexpected gains that happen and or take place around June. As I stated, that's when Mars, I'm gonna say that's when Mercury enters Cancer in June, and so does Venus. Nice. Yeah, so it could be communication about a love interest or something of that nature. This ascendant card sometimes gives me the vibe of like dating. It always gives me one of those vibes like someone asking you out, and then maybe you haven't gone out for a long time, so you looking you're throwing clothes all around, you looking all through your closet trying to figure out what to wear somewhere. So there could be invitations. Mercury and Venus entering your sign around June. It could particularly be romantic invitations and or intimate invitations. So even if it doesn't have to do with like an actual committed relationship that you're in, it could be like friends that are asking you to go to, how can I describe it? It could be like a birthday party, you know, like intimate type of vibes. Oddly enough, this is when your birthday is, right? So with the 6th house here with North Node influencing it, there is something that possibly takes place in February. It ends up maturing around June, or fully developing around June. For some of you guys, fertility definitely could be a thing with Cancer crowning this energy here, but it feels like something is becoming by June. Something that you planted seeds in earlier ends up becoming around the month of June. Okay, moving into July, of course you have outlook here. The ascendant is and oddly enough, right, like I'm telling you, like this is gonna resonate most significantly for those of you who have rising in Cancer. July is when Cancer season begins, and you have the ascendant here. Okay, and for some of you guys, like you really need to come back. You set a timer, set a reminder to come back and watch this reading in the month of July. It seems significant. Something about July seems significant. So whatever practical steps you're taking here in January, rather it be writing out your goals or filling out like an actual agenda planner, that sort of thing, like putting dates on the calendar or deadlines on the calendar for things that you want to complete. I don't know how, you know, whatever it is. It seems like by the time you get to July, although you do not see the gains that you set out for, other people do. And that's really important, I think, for Cancerians. There is an aspect of you all's chart and alchemy that thrives off of validation. And it seems like around the month of July, there is some sort of validation, not just any kind of validation that keeps you motivated to continue taking the practical steps that you began to take possibly around January. Okay. This card is about point of view. With Aries crowning this energy, and I told you, like, the New Year's for me doesn't necessarily start or kick off until Aries season. People's point of view is that you're having a new beginning, that you have actively started something new, whether it's a relationship, a job, a project, a side business, or something like that. There's proof of that. But it seems like when you look in the mirror, or when you look back at like the goals that you set for yourself, You feel like you're probably a little bit far behind. Possibly you're not dressed and or ready for some sort of position or challenge or job or promotion or something of that nature, but other people beg to disagree. So keep that in mind. The 8th house, okay, is about other people's money. It can be about taxes, inheritances. It could definitely be about intimacy, okay? And that seems to be a little bit of a problem around August, you know. Either like there is a bit of an issue being intimate, like just flat out, it feels like there's an issue being intimate with someone or enjoying intimacy the way that you normally did with this person, because finances are fucked up, and particularly fucked up because of them, or they indirectly they could have like indirectly influenced or contributed to like your finances not being in a place where you want them to be, because I don't see any pentacles here. And we're talking about the 2nd house and the 8th house. Both of these are about material gains, whether it be material gains that you have because of investments and work that you put in, or material gains because of investments or work that others have put in. I don't see pentacles here necessarily. There's a little bit of like an unknown type of energy, and it's not the greatest feeling, Cancer. When I say there's a little bit of the unknown, it's like you could have continued to carry on in a relationship, or you could have continued to carry on in like a connection, a job, a project, a small business endeavor, or something of that nature, only for like it not to pay off, at least in the way that you had planned around January. There might be some secrets that are uncovered, or there could be some sort of discovery that is made that maybe catches you by surprise. But this card is also about intuition, so it's like something that you possibly like suspected and or knew about, or you suspected that it would happen, or something of that nature. It's illuminated here because you have the moon. That's Chiron. It's an asteroid, but this looks like the moon. You have the moon showing up here, and then you have this one like beacon of light. For some of you guys, a Pisces could be of some sort of significance either in February and or in the month of August. It could be someone who particularly has sun, moon, rising, or Venus and Pisces, could end up being significant around this time. There's some sort of truth that you have to accept and find a way to heal from. Seems like around February, and possibly you have to revisit it in August, or something of that nature. This could also be someone who is born in the month of August. There could be a Leo of some sort of significance that has other like placements of Pisces in their chart, but there's a secret that's revealed around this time, and I feel like it's something that you had suspected. Oddly enough, you have Mercury sitting here in the 9th house. Whatever this secret is, it feels like it's on paper, or it will be put on paper. If not on paper, like a more modern version of that would be on email, or not necessarily text, because text is more so a casual version of conversation, a casual version of communication. It's slightly not even email. It's much more significant than that. Like the 9th house is about things that are being published and or things that are being like recorded. When I say recorded, like you can go to City Hall, you can go to like deeds to houses, and occupational permits for businesses, and like stuff like that happens in the 9th house. Oddly, again, you have the 2nd, the 8th, which is either about your money, finances, credit score, assets. 8th house, other people's assets. And then now there's some sort of official conversation about this, or a discussion at least about how to move forward or to make something official is what I'm getting here with this Mercury energy, either for the month of September or in the 9th house. And whatever this is, the gains that you felt like were delayed, this makes it official. Or yeah, like this makes it official, because now you're prepared to move into the 10th house. It's like there is an achievement. Whatever you set out in January, it seems like you maybe thought like, oh, I'd accomplish this by May or March or something like that. But I see it in the latter part of the year, September into October. I think I said in the beginning of your reading that you may, around the month of October and into December, kind of be presented with the challenge like you had the right frame of thinking back in January or before the start of the year. You had the right frame of thinking, but something changes over here, and I feel like it is directly related with like either family or something romantic. This is somebody who you live with. It could be someone who you share assets with or something of that nature. All of it's going to make sense by the time you get into October. So do trust the process. I cannot say that enough. The 10th house is also about career. It's about responsibilities, achievements, competence. It could be about legacy. It could be about the mother and the father. And it could also be about purpose, fame, notoriety. Okay, those sort of things. What is crowning this is Neptune, which can sometimes be about delusion. Okay, I hope y'all are following me, because in the beginning I said that there's something that you need to surrender, because holding on to it is contributing to some level, some dangerous level of delusion. Rather that's a partner, a lover, a job, or something of that nature. Something here. It's like you kind of have that idea. At least around January, you have some sort of slight aha moment or something of that nature that something's not practical. It's just not practical. And then it's like once you get to October, like you know for certain it's not practical. But I do want like you guys to be careful, because it seems like you have an opportunity. Do remember that like energy is liquid, you know, so you can come back to these readings later, and the messages that I'm giving you will hit different depending on the decisions that you make leading up to this moment here in October, on or around October into December. It's like there's some sort of whatever was on the subconscious mind, or whatever it was that you were imagining. Either you made the right decisions to make it happen with the 10th house here, or you had to completely pivot, and that pivot pays off. It's one or the other. Okay. I can't ignore the fact that this is being aspected by a challenge. And see, this has the 2 of Swords. So it's like either because of a decision that you made, there's a challenge. A decision that you didn't make, there's a challenge. Vice versa. For some of you guys, it's some sort of decision that a lover made that ends up negatively impacting this season here, this South Node energy, or you're looking back on this because it happened in the past. Okay. So 11th house anyway is about tribe, community. It could be about people who you share common goals with. And I say that kind of in a lightweight sense, where like whatever this project is, like this could have been like a business endeavor that you and a friend were going to do, or something of that nature. Or it could have been even like a family business type of thing. There were common goals shared with somebody and or a group of people. And for others of you, it's more so in the sense of tribe. You know, like connecting to, there could be a challenge in connecting to and or finding people who you feel like are on your soul tribe or on your level, because you've experienced some sort of glow up and or spiritual ascension with the 10th house here. that seems to kind of like sound some sort of alarm, or it seems to kind of, it like slightly frustrates you. But trust the process. Again, I have to keep saying that because that's what's going to kind of, the word is not ratify. It's like whatever this frustration is that you end up experiencing in the 11th house, and or directly related to your tribe, directly related to people who share a common goal with you, is what it removes the delusion. It sheds light on where delusion existed so that you can move forward towards gains. Okay, so anyway, wow, it's kind of deep. Let me see. You guys can still see these cards? Okay, wonderful. Where do we start? Tell me about the second house, please. For Cancer in the year of 2024, what's going on here most significantly in the second house? See, it's an issue. Mature man. This could be an energy of someone not maturing. There's a lack of maturity. The number 5 is radical change. Someone could be required to make some sort of radical change. Look, particularly to either gain some great fortune, but you also have imprisonment here. It's kind of an energy like, I don't know who this partner is, but they're a product of their own demise, is what I'm getting most significantly. For some of you guys, this could definitely be a Taurus, an earth sign, a Capricorn. Tell me one more thing about this. Some of you guys could make plans to travel with someone and end up changing your plans, and then you have an official person. And it's like the only reason why you end up finding out that like this person is a product of their own demise, because there could be some sort of new, yep, you have main male here. There could be someone new that comes around who's decorated, and or like, how can I describe this? I get mentorship for one. That's kind of what I hear loud and clear. Some sense of mentorship, some kind of mentorship could have happened in the past. This could have something to do with a mentor, someone who you already consider a mentor. It's like somebody could have told you to do something one way. Those of you where this is tying into like parental type of like vibrations, you know, like where you do something one way or another because you watched your parents do it that way, or a parent do it that way, and it has not been practical, or it has not paid off up until this point. And so now there's somebody else who possibly comes along and they're like, no, you should do this way, or do X, Y, and Z. And there's no way that you could really ignore like the advice or the suggestions that they're giving to you, because they're decorated, because they have some sort of proof that in the past when they have done X, Y, and Z, or done something one way or another, it has either paid off financially, materially, or they end up learning some sort of valuable lesson. Now, maybe it could have been a good lesson, or could have been a hard lesson, could have been a, you know, a bad lesson, whatever. But whoever this is, something about February 22nd, February 5th, there could be some combative energy around that time. Be bold and make the first move. What move is it that Cancer should be making in the year 2024? Either preparing to make, occupation. So this has a lot to do with work, purpose, your destiny, career, especially with the 10th house here. What's the energy in the 10th house, please, for Cancer? You have marriage. Oh. Looks like your love life is going to end up turning around this time, which I'm not surprised, because like I told you, around July, it seems like there's some sort of like intimate invitation or something of that nature. This could be end up being someone who you like kind of like meet by accident. Like friends could invite you somewhere and you end up running into someone or meeting someone. It could even been that they purposely like set you up on some type of blind date and it ends up moving very quickly or moving in a positive direction with marriage here. Whatever you imagined or had some sort of idea about like a committed relationship, there's somebody here who's blocking that, or at least trying to block it. And it's like some sort of bold move that you make, possibly to surrender and or separate yourself from this person, puts you on a path to have some sort of like true love. Oh, October 3rd. October 3rd could be significant. October 3rd, October 6th, October 16th could be significant. What's this communication about in the 9th house? You have journey and coffin. Oh. October 19th. And then you have thief on the bottom of the deck and courtship. See what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This could be a situation where like you've been in a relationship with someone who's been stealing from you. Ooh, underneath this coffin is main male. You could be in a relationship with someone around that time. I do not like to read for death, but for some of you guys, there could be a death around that time. Somebody's birthday could be the 24th of April. Somebody could be an Aries or a Taurus. I think I said that earlier with this mature man. Yeah, and then you have this unexpected income with message and wealthy man. I think I said that earlier. It's like there should be gains here, either at the 2nd house or the 8th house, but there's not. Something is delayed. And it's particularly because of possibly this earth sign, this individual, possibly an older gentleman. It could be a father figure or something of that nature. But it seems like you end up separating yourself, or it's like you wanted to separate yourself from the situation up here. But somebody says something or does something to either coax you into staying invested in something. Again, you have there's these two characters. It's kind of giving like devil and angel on your shoulder. You can either, choose to kind of go your own path or take the path less beaten, or take the angelic advice, or trusting your intuition, doing what your intuition is telling you to do, or allow others to impart on your path and continue down this road that I can't find any other words to describe it other than dangerously delusional. I know those are strong words, Cancer, but this is a strong energy. Tell me one more thing about Mercury. Sudden wealth. See? And then bottom of the deck, you have imprisonment here again and great fortune. Choose wisely and definitely trust the process. Then you have message of concern and main female. And concern. Something about February is very, very significant. Okay. What's the strongest influence of this being here? This all being here for Cancer, please. What's the strongest influence of this being here for Cancer? This be bold and make the first move in the year 2024. You have planning. It says now is the time to lay down the foundations for your future. Financial gains are more than likely. In bottom of the deck, you have reinvent yourself. It says a transformation is taking place. Enjoy a new lease of life. Some of you guys, there is quite literally going to be, there will be a physical move. Having North Node here, being crowned by the 4th house, that's home, life, that sort of thing. There could be some sort of move that's needed. You're being asked to surrender. It could be something unexpected, or like an opportunity that kind of falls out of thin air. And it's like, I wasn't I wasn't even thinking about moving to Hawaii. It's something strange, odd, but surrender to it is what you're being asked. Or at least surrender to the idea of it. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about this challenge that's showing up here for Cancer? The Grim Reaper. Something needs to end. I don't know who this is. That's like, yeah, you realize you're like heartbroken, and then you have X, which is about breakup, separation. It says stop the pattern, silent treatment. Something needs to end in order for you to be in a flow state. Any other messages, please? Flamingo. It says enjoying friends, balance and chaos, dealing with your emotions, mastering your energy or vibration, and then you have patterns. That's what I'm saying. You have a choice here. You have a major choice in the year of 2024, Cancer. You can either trust the process, trust your intuition, and move in a direction that is going to serve your highest purpose, or you can continue to do the same thing that you've been doing and expecting different results, which I would like to say is also known as insanity. Okay. Can I have one last message, please? I do think that there's some sort of, somebody could pass away. There could be that, or there's a major, like, again, this transformation, there's a major ascension for some, and for others, there is someone who is going to pass away. Death is literally sitting here on the bottom of the deck as I'm saying that. One last message, please, of what the year of 2024 looks like for Cancer, please. The main energy and or message. Definitely trust the process. It's gonna be a wild ride. As I said that, look, with the Sun card here, you have the Magician. And again, this is someone who either is not using their tools wisely. This is someone who's not in the right vibration in the sense of what they're manifesting and or asking for, not having realistic expectations of something. It seems like this could be you, Cancer. But it seems like at least by the end of the year, you are going to be in some healing energy with the Star card here. But look, as I say that, there's going to be a major transformation. I think that you need to be patient throughout the year 2024, and definitely just be mindful about the choices that you make and the people that you participate with. Okay, that's your reading. Bye.